There is absolutely no way on this earth, and I say that quite deliberately, that we can meet our climate targets whilst expanding airports. And the argument that this is an economic argument actually really doesn't hold weight, because a lot of the assessments on how many jobs would be created, on the benefits that would bring to our economy here, have been based on data that's old. A lot of it doesn't take account of the automation in the aviation industry. So claims on jobs just don't hold water at all.
Well, on the very basics of we need it to be built. So you've got people to build it.
Yeah, but if you invested
we
that
need
money...
people to take the tickets, so an increase in flights will mean those an increase in people...
very, very few. So if I take my local airport, Leeds Bradford Airport, right, where there's plans that they're currently on hold, but we know they haven't gone away, plans to expand, OK? So there were claims there from the people who were arguing that 16,000 new jobs, but the airport themselves said maybe it was nearer 1,500. And in fact, independent reviewers have said even that's an optimistic figure. Now, that is, sorry, not 12,650 jobs is what people were claiming. But somebody else looked at, if you put that money into sustainable transport and into other forms of sustainable investment, you could create 16,000 jobs, so it's a lot more. Can I just make one other point about the economy? This is a really London-centric debate as well, because actually, if you look at most of the airports, and a lot of the airports that are looked at for expansion, including things like Bristol, they've just got some go-ahead. Southampton, we're looking at it, Leeds, Bradford. OK, those airports, what happens there is we use them to go on holiday. And what that means is that people go out of the country and they take the money out of the country. Apart from the big London airports, right, people aren't coming in to bring money into the country. So actually, economically, it doesn't make sense, because it's actually moving money out. It's not supporting us. So for regional airports, it's a really different argument.
But the climate
fuels, the sustainable aviation thing is pie in the sky at the moment. We don't even have enough space to grow the plants that would be needed to create this sustainable fuel. So you're saying the jet fuels at the moment.
We have no idea where science is going, and actually you may find some sort of source of fuel that doesn't involve any kind of plant.
Well,
we might be able to do it from renewable
energies. But we don't have it now, so we're going to expand airports on the basis that there might be something out there.
But do we wait and then wait till we
Well, we wait on pretty much everything else.
But I think the other thing, well, let's look at a problem right now. The amount of planes that are circling, because we don't have the capacity to land planes right now. We burn excess fuel.
Well, let's stop internal flights.
Oh, well, I thought you might get Bevan. You said nobody should travel by plane, is that?
No, I didn't say nobody should travel by plane. I'm talking about internal flights within the UK, like that they've done in France.
So more high-speed rail to be built?
So, well, actually, let's improve the rail network that we've got at the moment. We could create huge numbers more jobs if we actually invested that into sustainable transport.
What is sustainable transport for you?
I can't even get from Leeds to Manchester in less than an hour, right? I can't get to Sheffield 30 miles down the road. That's the third and fourth largest city in our country, right? There's one train an hour that goes...
We did speak about this on yesterday's show.
Minutes, it's crazy.
Bizarre that flights are cheaper than trains at the moment, and so in order to get somewhere like maybe London to Glasgow, for example, it takes you 4.5 hours on a train. Similar on a plane, and yet you would go for the flight because at the moment it is cheaper.
But here's something that I think will annoy Peg a bit more, is that there's soon going to be air taxis. Those are the next things that are going to be coming in. The years to come, you'll see more air taxis, which are electric. Electric, and for everyone. Taxis for everyone, air taxis, electric.
OK.
Electric planes are so far off at the moment.
No, they've been developed. I've seen them flying.
Yeah, they have, but they can fly for about an hour and hold about two or three people.
No.
Honestly, they are a long way off. And the runways aren't long enough to enable it to happen. It's a long way off.
I'm desperate to go to calls. Paul, I'm going to put that over to Peg, because I suppose Paul is calling you a little petty.
I don't think I am petty, because actually I think what I'm thinking about is the fact that if we don't basically halve our carbon emissions by 2030, we're going to be over an increase in the climate of 1.5 degrees by the end of the century. And that basically means that we cannot grow food to feed the world. It basically means that we don't have temperatures and climate that's habitable in, that we're dealing with floods and fires. I don't think those things are petty. And what we're talking about here is airport expansion. I'm not saying that people shouldn't go on holiday. We're talking about airport expansion.
And as the population grows, Peg, you have to understand, I'm sure you do, but as the population grows, the problem is so does the demand on the airport. So if
we have to start changing things because of that. Right,
so what you're saying is people should go on holiday less.
Well, what I'm saying is actually that there's a lot of, we don't talk about freight and how much stuff goes on freight, how much stuff is moved around the world all the time on freight. We don't talk about private flying enough. We don't talk about private jets. We don't talk about business flying and things. So it's not all about people going on holiday.
But do you think we should reduce then? Is that what you're saying? We should restrict and
by
reduce?
By definition, yes.
Well,
because I don't think it's a mutually exclusive conversation. That's where you and I differ. I think we can do these things and we can capture innovation, which will enable us to do it within a framework to be sustainable. If we do not drive the requirements for innovation, if we just say we're going to reduce, we won't get the innovation. There's no driver for change. We want to achieve these things.
This isn't innovation.
It is innovation.
It's proposing expanding existing airports to put more fossil fuels up into the sky.
No, it's not about fossil fuels. That's the whole point. There is the view to say if you want sustainable fuels, that these aviation...
But it's not happening
Bristol Airport is not happening next 5 years.
This expansion
they're
will happen
electric planes
in
and sustainable planes. They're not. They're running on fossil fuels, and we cannot put any more fossil fuels up, and we can't add to the amount that's going up there already.
Okay,